أمر عليه يسير لا يحتاج إلى شيء وليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله وأمينه على وحيه ومبلغ الناس شرعا ما ترك خيرا إلا دل الأمة عليه ولا شرا إلا حذرها منه. فصلوات الله وسلامه وبركاته عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. ثم أما بعد. My dear respected brothers and sisters, elders and youngsters, today I want to go over a very unique topic, a topic that you and I, or a hadith that we have heard of for many years and memorized and understand. But I want to dissect this hadith in relation to, honestly, not just Sudan, as you can see, but Gaza, Lebanon, Pakistan, other countries that are going through some serious tragedies and some serious genocide and some serious pain. And we have all witnessed for the last year and a half the amount of injustice and destruction that has happened worldwide. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in this hadith describes to us the definition of what is considered to be a perfect life. I know here in America that a lot of us, we struggle. Okay, it's definitely not my phone. We struggle with so many different things. Whether it is finances, whether it is our bills, whether it is our want for growth. Everyone in this world, in this dunya, from the day you have been born until the very last day of your life, we're running and seeking after one thing, and that is what we call a perfect life. And that definition of a perfect life is subjective, because everyone's definition of a perfect life is different. Look at what happened with Marcellus Williams in Missouri, who has shook the media and the news today. A man who has been on death row for the last 20 plus years. A man who has been asking and seeking, for a stay of his execution, who has been claiming his innocence. Look at Dr. Afi Saddiq, who I have been listening to her documentary and her stories for the last 2 days. Very touching situation where this individual, this woman, has been sentenced to 86 years, has gone through so much torture, and a lot of us have forgotten people like them. Look at what is happening in Gaza. Gaza moved and shook the entire world. But after a certain time, naturally, as humans, we tend to either forget or we become numb to it. It's khalas. It is what it is at that point. Now we're seeing what's happening in Lebanon. We're hurt, we're upset, we're angry. But a time will come where we'll also be numbed from that as well. What's been happening in Sudan for over a year and a half. You see what's happening in Gaza, in Lebanon, in other countries, because those countries have had media exposure. You can open Facebook, you can open Instagram, you can open anything. You can even open the news and you will hear about these countries. Sudan, you will not see it on CNN or Fox News or anywhere. You might not even see it as frequent on Facebook. And I will talk about what happens and what is happening in Sudan in a few. But the perfect life. What is a perfect life? Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam tells us in a hadith, قال من أصبح منكم آمنا في سربه
مُعَافًا فِي بَدَنِهِ عِنْدَهُ قُوتَ يَوْمِهِ. Three things that summarize, and it shows us that the Prophet ﷺ has been giving, as he mentions, لَقَدْ أُوتِيتُ جَوَامِعَ الْكَلِمِ. أُوتِيَ جَوَامِعَ, the most conclusive speech. He summarizes what a perfect life for us looks like in 3 sentences. You waking up in the morning safe, in your home, safe in your surroundings, safe from those around you. Dr. Afia left to her home country with her 3 children, thinking she was safe. This was back in 2002. And subhanAllah, ever since then, she has not seen what her name defines, Afia. And there are many, many millions of stories like this that we don't even know about or haven't even heard of, because we are worried about nafsi. قَالَ أَصْبَحَ مِنْكُمْ آمِنًا فِي سَرْبِهِ. You're waking up safe. And subhanAllah, we don't realize and don't understand and will never understand the definition and the beauty and the ni'mah of safety, of amn, until we no longer have it. Is there any person right now in this masjid sitting here afraid that they may not make it until tomorrow? That they may have a bomb coming and destroying their home? That they may have intelligence agencies grabbing you and throwing you in a dark hole? That they may have someone coming to try to kill them? We don't have those fears. Allah in the Quran, when He talks about the people of Quraysh and the ni'am that He's giving them, He describes it by saying, الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ وَآمَنَهُم مِّن خَوْفٍ. That He has sustained them from hunger and prevented them from the feeling of fear. So you will never understand and appreciate the ni'mah of amn until you no longer have it. When you look at Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the opposite of amn, which is fear. He says, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. For those, mashallah, the majority here are Arab and know the Arabic language, Sheick, Allah says, لَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ. Shay means a portion of. And min, lughawiyan, linguistically, also is lil-tab'id. So Allah is telling us, we will test you with a portion of fear. And ju' and naqsin fil amwal wal anfus, which means that what you and I see today, what we experience today when it comes to fear and hunger and loss of our jobs, is only a portion of the ibtila. It is not the full capacity of ibtila. It is not the full level of ibtila, because you and I cannot handle it. It is our human nature, we cannot handle it. But the real fear is when you and I stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yawm al-qiyamah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا مِنْكُمْ, the Prophet says, وَمَا مِنْكُمْ مِنْ أَحَدٍ إِلَّا وَسَيُكَلِّمُهُ اللَّهُ لَيْسَ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَهُ تُرْجُمَانٌ. You will stand in front of Allah Azza wa Jal, and you are being questioned about every act. What have you done? What difference have you tried to make in this world? The sins that you've committed, everything. And you have no idea where that hisab is going to end, where it will lead you towards. Jannah or Jahannam. That right there is the level, the highest capacity of fear. The fear where Allah describes يوم القيامة يوم ترونها تذهل كل مرضعة عما أرضعت وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها وترى الناس سكارى وما هم بسكارى ولكن عذاب الله شديد. That is the highest level of fear. We haven't experienced it. But He says, alayhi salam, that the first definition of a perfect life is أصبح منكم آمنا في سربه. The fact that you're waking up safe is the first step of having a perfect life. قال in the next one, مُعَافًا فِي بَدَنِهِ. You're waking up healthy. Now a lot of us may wake up with some minor things, a headache, a cold, a flu, a cough, this and that. But the fact of the matter that we're not waking up to life support machines, chemotherapy, dialysis. You're on a wait list for a kidney transplant, a heart transplant, liver, none of those major issues. You're waking up healthy is a definition or a second portion of what is considered to be a perfect life. Third one, قَالَ عِنْدَهُ قُوتَ يَوْمِهِ. Now subhanAllah, having sufficient funds to sustain you for this day and this day alone, like you still have no idea where tomorrow's revenue is coming from. You're waking up today, you're safe, you're healthy, and your pocket has what's enough to sustain you and your family for today. Now I know financial advisors teach us that you should have 6 months of savings for a rainy day or a year-long worth of rent, مش عارف إيش. And we're growing up being taught that you have to save money, you have to prepare for the future, you have to do this and this and that. Don't get me wrong, Islam promotes you saving and preparing for your future and is okay with it and it actually supports it, encourages it. But when the Prophet explains that if you are waking up with those three things, you كأنما أحيزت له الدنيا بحذافيرها. It is as if you have the most perfect life. And subhanAllah, today, from a financial aspect, we hear the term a lot of times where someone says, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I know a lot of us may have gone through that point in a point of life in our time, where we're living paycheck to paycheck. And from our aspect, paycheck to paycheck means that you're living month to month, not day by day, month to month. So you have for the entire month worth of money and food to sustain you and your family, yet we're still complaining. If you have an entire month, you have the perfect life of 30 people. For 30 people. Yet our human nature is still to complain and continue to say that we're not happy, our life is miserable, I'm struggling, I need to find another job. Those three definitions are what is called in Islam the most perfect life. أقول ما سمعتم وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ثم أما بعد. How does this hadith or this topic relate to these banners that you see about Sudan? People of Sudan have lost those three basic life necessities. They've lost the taste of amn. They've lost the taste of health. They've lost the taste of food and having what is sufficient for one day. Now I know that people in different ethnicities or different cultures or different countries may think, well, why just Sudan? Why are we talking about Lebanon or Gaza or this or that? There is not a competition here of who deserves it more. Every single life matters, and every organization should support all of the countries in the world that are struggling. I personally, not only that I am from Sudan, but Sudan does not have, as I mentioned earlier, that much of media exposure. There's a lot of people that do not know what is actually happening in Sudan. If we're talking about the death toll today, and again, please don't misquote me. I am not comparing between a country or another. But if we're talking about the death toll today in Sudan, the death toll has surpassed 100,000 people in the last year and a half. 100,000 people. We're not talking about a certain city in Sudan, or a certain town, or even a certain state. We're talking about a nation of 50 million people. You have 22 million of them have been misplaced internally and externally. Almost half of the nation have lost their homes. The United Nations has mentioned that Sudan is the largest misplaced country in the world today. In the world. Talking about people that don't have the basic homes. You and I today, every single one of us gets to leave here, go back to their jobs, but ultimately at night, we all know where we're going to sleep today. Those millions that have lost their homes don't have that anymore. When we're talking about a nationwide, and 85% of hospitals have been completely destroyed or shut down. Nation, we're talking about the health aspect. Even those who are sick don't have the opportunity to go find medical care. Those who have lost their homes don't have a place to sleep. Those who do not have food cannot find that food. And again, alhamdulillah, everyone, one of us can choose any restaurant that we want to go to for lunch or dinner today and eat. A ni'mah Allah has given us. People in Sudan do not have that. Now I know again from a psychological point, there's something called donor fatigue. You know what donor fatigue is? That's when you hear myself, I'm sure you've seen my face many times here raising funds. And other organizations, and you're asking yourself, how much time am I going to give? How much time am I going to donate? I've already given, I've already did this, I've already did that. I say, subhanAllah, you and I should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah gave you the upper hand to be the one receiving the request and the one to give. And you're not the one extending your hand for help. A ni'mah Allah has given all of you. The fact that you don't have to extend your hand and Allah has chosen you to have this opportunity is a ni'mah for you. At the end of the day, who do we want the reward from? أنت ممن تريد الثواب تريده من الله عز وجل. فاصنع عملا صدقة تنتفع بها في دينك ودنياك وتلقى بها الله سبحانه وتعالى يوم القيامة. You don't know, and for sure, the donation, the dollar or 10 or 20 or 100 or whatever you may give, you will never know the exact individual that received those funds. But يوم القيامة Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala وما كان ربك نسيا. Everything وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. Everything is documented. You will come and you will see a face in Muhammad that you've never met in your life. See Allah, I have benefited and I was able to eat and get better and find cure because of their donations. Every 3 to 4 hours in Sudan, a child is dying because of malnutrition and lack of food. The women that have been sexually abused, when interviewed, they said that because they don't have, public bathrooms in Sudan, they go out, they wait, they hold, using the bathroom until night. And they go to an empty spot somewhere far out to use the bathroom. And when they do, that is when they are found and they are sexually abused. They don't have basic feminine and hygiene products that you can find today at any shop for your wives and our daughters and sisters. I can sit here and talk about the stats and about the struggles the people of Sudan are facing. I can talk about the struggles of the people of Gaza, of Lebanon, of Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Yemen, Somalia, everywhere. But this is not the time to just sit and talk and narrate. This is a time for us to act. I simply ask the brothers and sisters in this community to give me 4 minutes of your time after the Jummah. I know everyone is in a rush to leave and we have to make space for the next khutbah. But just give me, inshallah, 4 minutes after the khutbah. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala أن يتقبل منا وإياكم صالح الأعمال. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. واذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. A very quick announcement as well, I forgot, but after the salah we will have a very quick janazah prayer or salatul ghaib for our dear brother and Imam Marcellus Williams, inshallah ta'ala. So we ask you guys to also join us in that, inshallah ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala أن يفك وأن ييسر أمره وأن يفتح وأن يكن لإخواننا المستضعفين في فلسطين وفي غزة وفي السودان وفي لبنان. اللهم كن لهم ناصرا ومعينا وحافظا ومؤيدا. اللهم استر عوراتهم وآمن روعاتهم واحقن دماءهم يا رب العالمين. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمني وإياكم الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
This place, I believe, is you guys want to go up the first row, inshallah. راسي حاذر بين المناكب والأقدام. Fill up your gas, straighten up your lines. الله أكبر. الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم. Inshallah, as I mentioned, 4 minutes maximum, inshallah, on that side. So, Bidana Khan, brothers and sisters, Jazakumullah khair for your time today. We are trying to show how to support the people of Sudan, and we have a few different packages that are out there. So right now we're looking for sponsors to sponsor a tent that provides a home for 50 families, which over about 150 people, at a nice shelter that has ACs and heating for the winter, helps them to stay, be away from the rain. It is worth $1,000. We do have mobile clinics that are a station for medical care and immediate urgent care for $2,500. There is food for an entire month for a family for $300, and then feminine hygiene product for $250 that provides hygiene product for a month for 400 sisters. So let us start off at least one brother. Is there one brother that can help, or maybe two, to cover a mobile clinic for $2,500? Can we get one or two brothers that want to split together a mobile clinic for $2,500? Can I get anyone for that amount, inshallah ta'ala? Anyone, inshallah. I have a 4-minute gap window with you guys. Can I get one or two brothers that want to together do a mobile clinic for $2,500? Anyone? This is one brother, inshallah ta'ala, today. Can we get anyone for $2,500? For the sake of time, for a shelter and a tent for $1,000. Can we get anyone that wants to do $1,000, inshallah? Is there anyone that can do a tent and provide shelters for them? MashaAllah, Bismillah is always the first in the line. Jazakallah takbir. Can we get some more brothers, inshallah ta'ala, that want to do a tent, inshallah ta'ala, a shelter for them? Anyone, inshallah ta'ala? Can we get anyone that wants to do $1,000? We also have some brothers at the other side that will, if you want to support and raise your hands, please raise your hand over there. They will see you on that side, inshallah ta'ala. Can I get a brother that wants to do a tent? If anyone wants to do $500, inshallah, can we do $500, half of that? Can we do $500? Anyone that wants to do half of that amount, inshallah? Anyone, inshallah, $500. It can even be on a monthly basis. Can we do $500? Anyone, inshallah? Anybody, inshallah, can we do $500? And then last but not least is the package for food. Who wants to do $300 food packages, inshallah ta'ala? Who wants to do $300? Can we get some hands? One, alhamdulillah, two. Anyone else, for $300 for a food package? That is food that we buy for our families, for, fast food restaurants or just a dinner. Can we get anyone else for $300, inshallah ta'ala? And we have brothers in the back that have their QR codes. And we should have boxes outside for donations. Can anyone else do $300? Anybody, inshallah? Okay, the last one is $100. Can anyone do $100? Can I get some hands for $100? Anyone, inshallah? Anyone for $100? We got one, alhamdulillah, here. Can we get some more hands for $100? Anybody else? Two, jazakallah khair, inshallah ta'ala. Hold it with you. Say jazakallah khair. We will do a quick janazah prayer. If you guys want to attend that, inshallah ta'ala, for Brother Marcellus Williams, inshallah. And then we also have our tables and brothers outside. Jazakallah khair, takbir. So inshallah, we'll do the quick janazah prayer, inshallah ta'ala, right? And then afterwards you can put our tables outside. It'll be a series of 4 takbirats. The first takbir will be Surah Al-Fatiha. The second takbir will be the Salat al-Ibrahimiyya. Third takbir, a dua for our deceased brother. May Allah have mercy on him. And a fourth takbir, a general dua for the Muslims. Allahu Akbar. 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 Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.